My boss fired me for having an attitude when I asked for my commission, so I deleted the Google Drive he thought was the company server. The termination letter slid across the forward desk, stopping right next to a half-eaten bagel. My manager, Greg, a man who thought cloud computing meant using his phone on an airplane, leaned back in his chair, giving me a look that was 50% pity and 50% constipation. It's not working out, Mike, Greg sighed, adjusting his tie that was visibly stained with mustard. You have an attitude problem. You're always asking about money. It brings down the vibe. We need people who are passionate about the mission, not just the paycheck. I'm letting you go. Effective immediately. Passionate about the mission? I asked, picking up the letter. Greg, I haven't been paid my commission for the Q3 sales. That's $15,000. Asking for my contractually obligated money isn't an attitude. It's math. See, that's what I mean. Greg slammed his hand on the desk, rattling his bobblehead collection. Always with the numbers. We're a family here. And frankly, I'm keeping that commission as a recruitment fee to find your replacement. My nephew, Braden, is starting Monday. He's a digital native. He'll figure out your job in an hour. You're keeping my money to hire your nephew. I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound. And you think he can handle the data management? It's just files, Mike, Greg scoffed. Drag and drop. A monkey could do it. Now, hand over your badge. Security will escort you out. Don't touch the computers. I didn't argue. I didn't flip the desk. I handed him my badge with a smile that should have terrified him. Good luck, Greg, I said. I hope Braden is good at drag and drop. I walked out, got into my car, and drove home. Greg thought the company had a sophisticated server infrastructure. He bragged to clients about our secure, off-site data repository. What Greg didn't know, because he was too cheap to pay for a corporate G Suite account or an IT guy, was that the entire company's file system wasn't on a server. It was hosted on my personal Google Drive. I had set it up 3 years ago when the startup was broke, sharing the folders with everyone so we could collaborate. I had asked Greg to migrate it to a company account a dozen times. His response was always, if it ain't broke, don't spend money on it. Well, now it was broke. I sat on my couch, cracked a beer, and opened my laptop. I logged into my personal Gmail. Storage used, 98%. Time for some spring cleaning, I whispered. I right-clicked the folder labeled company_master_files. It contained everything. Client lists, contracts, tax returns, the proprietary code for the app. Everything. I selected remove. Then, for the piece de resistance, I went to the trash folder. Empty trash. Are you sure? This action cannot be undone. I'm passionate about the mission, I muttered, hitting yes. The chaos started at 9 a.m. the next morning. My phone rang. It was Greg. I let it go to voicemail. It rang again, and again. Finally, I answered on the 10th try, putting it on speaker while I made waffles. Mike, what did you do? Greg screeched. He sounded like he was hyperventilating. The files are gone. The shared drive is empty. Braden tried to log in and it says, access denied. Where is the server? There is no server, Greg, I said, pouring syrup. There never was. That was my personal Google Drive. You know, the one you refused to pay for. Restore it, he roared. We have a client audit at noon. If those contracts are missing, we'll be sued for breach. I can't restore it, I said, taking a bite of waffle. I deleted it. I needed the space for my wedding photos. You know how big 4K video files are. That's when the real bombshell dropped. You deleted the company, Greg whispered, the fight draining out of him. That's illegal. That's destruction of property. Actually, I corrected. It's my property. I checked the employee handbook. It says personal accounts and devices are the sole responsibility of the employee. Since you fired me, I just took my property back. If you wanted the data, you should have migrated it to a company account. Or, you know, paid me my commission. I'll pay you, he begged. I'll wire the 15 grand right now. Just get the files back. Sorry, Greg, I said. I emptied the trash bin. Even Google can't bring them back now. Maybe Braden can retype the last 3 years of work. He's a digital native, right? I hung up. The company failed the audit that afternoon. They lost their 3 biggest clients by Friday because they couldn't produce the service agreements. Greg was fired by the silent partners the following week when they found out he had been running a multi-million-dollar business on a free Gmail account. I eventually sued for my commission and won because, ironically, I had saved a copy of my employment contract on a USB drive before I nuked the cloud. Am I the villain for deleting their existence, or did Greg format his own hard drive when he fired the only guy who knew where the save button was?